All right, how's everybody doing? It's Roaring Lion, and this evening we have Illuminati Congo going to join us. And so let's get it going. The man of the hour.
Yo, peace, brethren.
Hey, man, it's good to see you, everybody. This is
Yeah,
Illuminati Congo.
and this my brethren, my longtime brethren, Pharaoh Ramesses.
So I got him over here to bring some insight so you can hear some other people's opinions, see what other people got to say. This brother here is highly intelligent. I've been knowing him a very long time. Somebody that is mind-boggling.
You same way.
and, uh, and so it's very interesting. So I brought him over here to let him do his thing. Ask him some questions. He's the first person on this new series we got. And I'm sure he's got a lot of information for y'all. So I'm going to start with this. Brethren, what's your Earth years? How old are you in terms of what we go by? Because I know you probably on something different when it comes to age. But what's your
Yeah,
age?
well, I always answer this question in the same way, and it is, first of all, I'm one. I'm always one because I don't measure myself next to any other bodies, celestial bodies, or anything like that. So it's just one. It's one since forever. So that's the first. Secondly, atomically, our cells are renewing every 11 months. So I can't be more than 11 months.
Okay.
Cellularly, we renewing every 7 years. So I can't be more than 7 years on the human plane. Uh, and then we can even go into the stars, star dust and material that our body is made out of, which is billions of years. So since that's been around since forever, I'm also billions of years. So all those things considered, that's how I play with time. But I came to Earth in 1978 on the 360th day of the year, which was just a couple days ago. I celebrated my Earth Day.
Oh, okay. All right. Great, great, great. Now, how old were you before you realized the type of person you are? In other words, there's a certain age where we're children, and then there's a certain age where we come into a thought pattern uh, of maturity. What age would you say that started for you?
Well, I was a shorty. It was really nature that first was communicating the divine to me, and then I heard a whole bunch of people talking about Jesus and stuff. So when I started to understand concepts and ideas of that nature after I was a toddler, so I went into those realms, around fifth grade to begin to study the Jesus thing, and that led me to Rastafari, which led, and this was like in seventh grade. I got or eighth grade is when I took that book from my dad. He had went to Jamaica and brought this book home from Jamaica called Dread, and I started connecting with that, and I still didn't know much about Rastafari or anything like that, but I was just resonating with the imagery of a Congo man and uh, of King Selassie. These things was resonant with me. And as I learned more throughout sophomore, junior years, when, I became vegetarian junior year and really was taking up like the Hebrew Israelite and the Rasta livity since that time.
Interesting. Now, I remember seeing you out at Haile Selassie Day out of Washington Park. What grade were you in the first time you came out there?
That was probably junior. I was probably a junior in high school. Hmm. I
Now,
still
what year?
got a shirt. I still got a shirt that you gave me, one of them Kuya shirts with His Majesty on it that said "Love John Live." I still got that one. It's towed down. I mean, that's two
Right,
decades ago, but
right,
over 2 decades ago. But I got to hold on to it for the memory.
right. Yeah, I remember you as a youth. I was like, oh man, this is a powerful youth man right here.
Oh, thank you, brother.
And so now you're into a lot of knowledge. Like your knowledge game is through the roof. Now, uh, tell me some of the various cultural aspects that you got in line with Rastafari liberty. Like, I know you study things in India, China, world around. Give us a world perspective on, how you do. Give everybody your world perspective on that.
Well, when I come into to see all these different cultures, there seems to be a root of the teaching of Our Majesty, the teachings of Christ inside all of these other teachings. It's not about the doctrines or the words; it's about the heart, and so through studying these different like Tantra and the Tao and Sufi, and not really just studying them. It's not like I'm just reading books about them. It's actually practicing, uh, applying the practices and the techniques in my life. Uh, I see how they're supportive of Rasta livity. Like even Rasta itself, when you look in Jamaica, uh, there was a heavy Indian presence in Jamaica, and of course there was a heavy melanated presence in India originally as well. So everything that there's the science of our melanated people is also in India, in the Tao, in the Sufi teachings, but it often gets whitewashed through the years. People put their own little perspective, their cultural little tweaking on it. But it was all them cultures I would find, uh, like for instance the Trinity, the power of the Trinity. You have the Trinity is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva in the Hindu. Uh, and there's so many trinities. Things are broken down into threes in Sanskrit and in the Tibetan so much, but Haile Selassie means power of the Trinity. That's the power, the point in the middle of those three. And so it's always felt like through tapping into Rastafari, we've tapped into a plug or an outlet that allows us to really understand any type of culture or religion, because His Majesty was like the living exemplar, and not was, still is the living exemplar of all of these traditions. But that's not something I would proselytize to someone. I wouldn't tell anybody, yo, you need to believe in His Majesty. It's just something that resonated with me and with Rasta people, and probably they've been able to benefit much from the example of His Majesty through any of their studies, whether even if it's just your hustle, just being on your daily work ethic. His Majesty ground us in that.
Interesting. And so now I noticed that you're really heavy into breathing. I don't know if you call it yoga or whatever. Could you explain to everybody what you practice when it comes to that?
Yeah, well, the breath is spirit. That's that's the you call it chi, ki, prana, ruah. So many different names mean breath and spirit at the same time. And so for me to have a spiritual experience, I'm not trying to have a vision of God. I'm not trying to hallucinate anything. I just want to breathe, to engage with the same thing that even the Bible said was breathed into us in the beginning. That was the spirit of life. But I mean, that could be understood. If we break down the Bible, it could get confusing because that was actually Adam that he did that too, and it wasn't man and woman who was in the previous chapter, which is something I know you're very adept at breaking down some of those early Bible stories. But the breath is my experience of God beyond the words of God, beyond the philosophies and the doctrines. So what I like to do is look at my inhalation as my drive and my motivation in life, my will in life. And I look at my exhalation as the ability to let go, the ability to relax and not try to control things. The inhale is controlled, the exhale not controlled. It's like a yin and yang, the active on the inhale, the passive on the exhale. And through seeing how my breath can be, uh, how it is either in alignment or how it may be out of alignment, will tell me about my mood and my temperament of for that time being. And that could also affect and impact my mood through uh, playing with the breath. And so the breath is the foundation for my spirituality because it's completely physical, but it's also completely untangible as well.
That's deep. Now, what about eating? How should we be eating according to you? You're a wise man. If you was just going to give us an overall instruction on what we should eat, how we should eat, what we should drink, what do you say?
Well, eating is it's a very personal thing for many people. They could get very offended if you tell them not to eat animals. But I think it hurts the animals more when they're killed than it hurts people when you tell them don't eat animals. But
Yeah,
people get offended like they getting killed when you tell them don't eat animals.
right.
Uh, but I I would say the most natural information that was created is the best. Food in its most natural, original state that comes from the earth. Uh, Predominantly the fruits that will just jump off the tree, fruits that will just give themselves to you, that you don't have to destroy the whole plant for you. So a tree can give forth hella pomegranates and hella mangoes without having to kill the tree. It just keep producing it. It could actually live forever. But uh, some plants, a head of lettuce, you eat that head of lettuce, it's not growing back. There's some greens that grow back, but only a couple times. So you want those to be the things that don't grow as abundantly to be what you eat the least of. The things that grow extra abundantly to be your main source of food. Water, I like distilled water and stream water, river water, like a balance of those two so that you get in water that will cleanse you, that's really close to the original H2O constituents of just hydrogen, minerals in it, has life environmental information in it that can help provide even probiotics at times in those waters. And yeah, and then superfoods. I think that superfood, I think all fruits and vegetables are superfoods, but there's a lot of foods that have come onto the scene uh, just almost out of nowhere, uh, that I had never heard of. Like I never knew anything about a acai or a maca 15 years ago, and it just came onto the scene, and I think some of these things are angels in a sense that they're making themselves known more and spreading themselves more out throughout the earth to serve people. So if it's a superfood you resonate with, uh, and you might have heard some information about it, experiment with it. Experiment with the foods of the earth. See what they do. I don't know what's best for anyone's else body though.
Interesting. Real interesting. Now, people always ask me about the history of people on the planet. Like, what's the old history from your perspective? Because you're well read. Give us as far back as you can go. Where did people come from on this planet? How did that all start? And what place were they at? And could you break that down? What do you think? I want to hear your perspective on it.
Well, I often, when it comes to history, it is always a mystery. And so it's always going to be a speculation, and it's always going to be revealing our psychology, actually, what we think about history. It doesn't reveal what actually happened in history, but it reveals our psychology about it. And they say to know where you're going, you got to know your history. And so when I look at history, the best way for me to express or talk about it is to think about how can I best spin the story of history? How can I spin it best so that it empowers me and anyone else who hears the story? That's what I think about. So history, I'll put it like this. There was God, and God decided to be in many forms of the one that could relate with. There was this one. It was just this one thing. You couldn't even differentiate. There's nothing to say this is different from that. So it was just, and that's cool. That's cool, but there's no relation there. There's no time there. There's no place there. There's nothing there. It's the grand nothing. So you had to create something, and that's the one. Because it really is the none first, and then you create the one, and then that one created the two. It split itself into another. It just reflected itself basically, and from the two came the three. And this is all our ancestry. We're talking about our first parents and where we came from. And as far as the land masses or the places, that there were no places. So we imagined places into being. We imagined a substance solid. We imagined these 5 substances into existence that needed to support bodies and forms and relationship and time. And so we needed to make space. We needed to make air. We needed to make fire. We needed to make water, and we needed to make earth. We made those things and made our bodies out of those so that they could actually relate with each other. And we made the places that we connect on out of those things as well. And through time, people began to mistake themselves. They began to forget about fire, earth, water, air, and space, like have no conscious relationship with it anymore. They don't sit with fire consciously. They stop contemplating the candle, contemplating in the waterfall. They stop bathing regularly. And through disassociation with the elements, we disassociated ourselves from the divine, from God. And we began to mistake ourselves as our ideas instead of fire, earth, water, air, space, and the Almighty One that we are. We're just the Almighty One with bodies of fire, earth, water, air, space, utilizing them to relate. And by reconnecting with these elements, all wisdom is there. The stories, like we could make up grand stories. The Owaspy has some grand ways of it's a book similar to the Bible.
It's way
Uh, and it's a tripped out one about the history, and I would say if anybody reads the Bible and would like an alternate way, just so that their mind can begin to contemplate things outside of what they've been shared, read the Owaspy. That one is good, and also the Lemurian tablets. That's another good one.
okay. So now y'all can see that every time he would leave my apartment, my head be spinning for about 4 days.
That's
Him, and
no, that's
after
how I would
listening to
be
him,
too. That's how
stop
I would
listening
be
to him,
too.
you see why I don't want to listen to nobody else. I can just call him. Okay. Now, uh, cryptocurrency. Okay. Now, give us a breakdown on what's going on with that, what it's all about. I'm about to be 64. Put me up on game. What's the deal with cryptocurrency? How do we invest? What's up with the metaverse? What's up with NFTs? Break all that down.
So crypto is has it's like a double-edged sword, or like any other tool. And that's one thing that we have to always remember, that anything could be used for our detriment or betterment. And so there is great potential in crypto for us becoming our own private banks, where your funds are secure. They can't be deducted for child support, for fines, for anything, because you have these things locked in a vault that can't be broken by anybody. And you can earn interest, huge interest on your crypto. See, that's one of the things. Just buying crypto is cool, but taking that crypto and putting it somewhere so it makes you more money while it's growing in value too, that's what to do. And then you can also take your crypto, put it somewhere, and take a loan out on that collateral so that you can utilize liquidity from your original position. Say you put 10 Bitcoin somewhere and you wanted to buy some more crypto, or say you wanted to buy a house. You could take a loan off of your own crypto. No one has to approve it but you. There's no appraiser, there's no middleman. It's just you and the app, the DApp, the decentralized app. And you could set that loan up for yourself. So you're making crypto an asset that can work for you, instead of just trying to find, oh, what's the next coin that's going to pump and go crazy so I could become a millionaire overnight. That'd be great. If that happened to anyone in this live, or in the past, or happens to you in the future, great. But that's not the solid game plan in crypto. The solid game plan is stack what you can so that you could put it somewhere where it earns you livable income for life. For life. Now, some people might say, well, what happens if there's an electromagnetic pulse or solar flare or something that destroys all of the banking system and everything? Well, everything will be destroyed then. It's like you already knew that you needed to be relying on physical resources too. If you didn't know that and you got caught up to thinking you could just rely on, internet money, then you need to go back to the drawing board, get some common sense. Like, yeah, we need water, we need shelter, we need food. and those are things that need to be prioritized. But in the scheme of these elements we were talking about prior, we were talking about fire, earth, water, air. Earth is what most people consider as a resource, in all of the things in earth, these solid, tangible things. And that is, we cannot ever devalue that. But we can't devalue the further abstraction of wealth either, which is liquidity, liquid, currency, the seas of the current, the water liquidity aspect of money, the river banks, the river banking system. Uh, we can't discount that. Then the bits, a bit is an electrical firing of energy. And now that's the fire in the elements, like how we're sending money through the wire, through electricity. We send money now. That's fire, the element. And that has further abstracted money from the water, from the liquidity. Then we further abstracted to air, where you're getting these airdrops of cryptocurrency. People just get cryptocurrency just dropped to them, to their address. It's not even sent through a wire at all. It's just processed in the blockchain through air, basically.
Okay,
And
now,
here,
where do I hide? Where do I put my crypto? Because mine is in some wallet. But is there a way that we can put our stuff up where we don't have to worry about the wallet?
uh, so there's hardware wallets, and when you put it in your hardware wallet, you could just uh, it's offline. It's stored offline, so that you can keep it there. But when it's online, it is secure as long as you have your 12 words, or your 24 words, how many words they gave you, your private key.
Mm-hmm.
If you have those words, then it's yours and it is secure, unless you give those to somebody, because no one's gonna there's been none that have been hacked unless someone has got your 12 words. That's the only way those things have been hacked. So it's not that risky to have it in a hot wallet that is or a software wallet. It's okay to do
Which
so.
which do you prefer?
I mean, if you have a huge bag, if it's a huge bag that you're not doing nothing with, and you just want it to be secure, then you store it in a hardware wallet. But like, there's a thing called Haven Protocol, where it's completely private, and you can put all your funds in there and stabilize it to US currency. You could stabilize it to yen, or to silver, or to gold, instead of the Haven coin. And it's a whole private network, and it's one of the most secure that can't be hacked. So that's a good play. But here's the other thing: if you're gonna want to be earning rewards on your crypto, you don't want it to be stuck away like that, because then it can't do nothing for you.
Right.
So you definitely want to have a portion that you could play with in the DeFi space, where you're getting like these crazy APYs and APRs, 180%, sometimes 10,000, 100,000%. Like, there's crazy stuff happening out there, and some of them are really bad. Some of them will rug and take your money, and some of them will make you a millionaire in a very short amount of time. So it's really important to learn how to do research, like on the team behind any coins that you're getting involved with. Make sure that they're not anonymous. If they're anonymous, it's a good chance they're they're going to try to get you.
Okay, so give me 5 coins that you would suggest people to invest in.
5 coins, H-bar, Hedera, Hashgraph, uh, Quant, QNT, uh, IOTA, Miota, and Olympus Dow, and Time Wonderland.
Now, how do we get around the gas prices?
So some of the things that I mentioned can get around gas prices. So there's layer twos of Ethereum that are called Matic. You have uh, Avalanche, Arbitrum, Optimism. These are layer twos of just different platforms that are very similar to Ethereum, but they have 0 to no gas fees. And you have to add them into your MetaMask wallet manually and bridge your currency, bridge your Ethereum over there. And that may cost a big gas fee or a bigger gas fee when you're doing the bridge. But
Right.
once you get it there, then you can do all your operations without gas fees, which is really important.
Mm, interesting. Now, what is the metaverse for people that don't know? A lot of people don't know what that is, don't know if they should get into it, don't know if they should buy land. What is it about?
Well, metaverse is very similar to what we're doing right here and now. We're on this live talking, but imagine it could be a little more interactive. Imagine we we could actually have a world that we're doing this in that is as creative as we'd like it to be. Uh, so it could have any aesthetic or any teaching function or any entertainment function or advertising function that we would like. So there's a use for metaverse, especially for education. That's where I see the best use case for metaverse is because you can get, if you wanted to go to the pyramids of Egypt with your classroom, y'all just go there in the metaverse. Now there's also augmented reality. Now, augmented reality is what's going to become more normal than just being completely immersed in a metaverse. Augmented reality is when you're here, you're looking around, but you can hold up your phone and look in it and see other things or have smart glasses on and you're seeing whole different installments depending on which augmented reality you flick to in your glasses. And so for learning, you go on a historical tour. Maybe there's a metaverse that gives you information about all the buildings, or you can do uh, like technical work, teach people how to work on cars or whatever through the metaverse. There's so many practical implications for it. Yet simultaneously, you see when we log on here, it says Meta. You see Facebook is now Meta, and they have another plan. The same way that they've been censoring people, cutting their information off, sculpting narratives. They want a world where they can do that, where you can be immersed in, and they can give you their whole program just how they want it. And that is a centralized system. Facebook is centralized. It's Mark Zuckerberg.
Mm-hmm.
But there are decentralized versions like Sandbox, which Snoop got in. That's a decentralized version. And a lot of these metaverses that are on the blockchain, if they're not completely decentralized right now, that's because you need someone to start it. You need a group of people to start it. But much of them are going to the are advancing to where they distribute all of the assets, all of the coins of these particular platforms to the users. And then the users become the governance of these platforms. So I'm a governor in Algorand coin. It's the first one that I ever decided to govern in, and not just be playing with the coins for profits. Cause I was like, yo, I want to see what it do to actually cast my vote for how this platform goes. Uh, yeah, it's so much, it's so much going on in the space. It feels like it's hard to give all of the best information in a quick manner. But I'll say one thing: anyone who wants to jump in right now, download a SafePal wallet. Download the SafePal wallet. It's going to ask you if you want to create a new wallet. If you don't have no other wallet, then create a new wallet. If you have an old Ethereum wallet or one that you're using, import it into there. And there's a browser in there that gives you access to so much stuff, to so many platforms of these decentralized NFTs, and really you just get in there and learn them. You click on it, read what it's about. You don't have to buy none. You could just go click on all the platforms, click on the NFT, the crypto gaming platforms, and then get familiar with it. And one more big thing about that SafePal, so people ain't even supposed to know this. There is, if you try to get signed up for Binance, you can't access the Binance exchange in the US. You can't do it. You can do Binance US, but they have a very limited amount of coins. And it takes you a long time to get verified. On your SafePal wallet, there is an exchange in there. It is the Binance exchange, and it is a decentralized version of it. And you can access all of Binance right there, which is most coins, in a decentralized way where they don't never have to get your name. You just accessing it through your wallet.
Mm, interesting.
Yeah.
That was good information. Now, another thing is, you see what's going on right now. Everybody's supposedly getting sick. What should we be taking to protect ourselves, seeing that we really don't know what's going on? Give me 5 or 10 things that we should be taking, herbs or whatever you feel.
Hmm. One of my most useful ones is Osha root. Osha root is a root from like the southwestern low Sierra type of region, called bear root sometimes, or bear medicine, and that one is one of the best ones for clearing respiratory sickness. Then you have oregano oil. Oregano oil is, if you're having trouble breathing, or if things are stuffed up, oregano oil will help get that out. Uh, there's olive leaf. Olive leaf extract is really powerful antiviral. I don't like the word antiviral though, because virus isn't there's nothing wrong with a virus. Virus is a part of nature. Uh, Virus is a cleanser. Uh, and when bacteria comes to cleanse our body, to break down some type of toxin. So basically it's like you have a toxin in your body from some from whatever uh, type of chemicals are in the environment. When these things get into people's body, And there's chemicals in the environment even before modern society. There were there were chemicals in the environment before the industrial age, so it worked the same way then. But when a toxic chemical gets into your body, bacteria, if you don't get rid of it immediately, a bacteria will come to attempt to eat it up and get rid of it. And if you don't support that bacteria during that time, getting rid of the toxin in you, that bacteria will mutate into virus. And if you don't support helping that virus break down the bacteria and the original toxin that was in you, then that virus begins to break down the body. But the virus was never the issue. The issue was the toxin. So cleansing our body of toxins through blood purifiers, with hyssop and burdock root, those are really good ones. And one of my favorite teas is just that old school garlic ginger. The garlic ginger tea. Just cut up some fresh garlic, cut up some fresh ginger, put a little honey in it, and that one right there, that one will do you justice. What else do I use? I use zeolite. Zeolite is a mineral, and also shungite, or carbon C60. These are minerals that have a specific chemical structure that are able to sort of like encapsulate and capture the toxin in your body and remove it from you. So like if you've had to take the vaccine, or if you wanted to or whatever, and you have it in you, but you feel like you wanted to get it out, those two, shungite, carbon C60, and zeolite are really good for helping it. It's like carbon, but like charcoal. It's like activated charcoal to the 1,000th power.
Wow. Now let me ask you something. What is this right here?
Shilajit. Oh, that's Shilajit. That shit is legit.
What does it
That
do?
it's
It do-
it's that black mineral pitch. And first of all, you look at that color, you know that's melanin. That is
How do I take it?
uh is yours a resin form?
Yeah,
So if it's hard at the moment, then you need to get it soft by warming it up somehow.
it's soft,
Okay.
uh, soft.
So if it's soft, then the best way you could make some tea, and you could just put it in the tea. You could put it in some water, in a glass of water. You could put it in some coconut milk, or some coconut water. Uh, you could put it in your smoothies. Like if you want a really good smoothie that tastes like the most chocolatey chocolate of smoothies ever, you put some cacao. Of course, you need the cacao,
Hmm.
but cacao doesn't always make your smoothie taste real chocolatey.
Hmm.
So if you get some chaga root is the mushroom, and put a little shilajit in there too on top. Oh man, that you're gonna be like, this is a dark chocolate. This tastes like a dark chocolate smoothie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's one of the best ways to use shilajit in a smoothie.
Okay, okay. So you got all the information. That's great, bro. You're very knowledgeable. And so give us a parting, give us some information we should deal with for 2022. What would be your advice for everybody how to function over the next year?
Man, it seemed like the best thing is to tap into to the true will, to your true will. Uh, it's sort of like our purpose, but it's even deeper than our purpose. It is the it is that this, it's like our holy guardian angel, this spirit that drives us to to bring this spark, this essential thing that only you have to this playing field. And you can't let anything get in the way of that no more. We can't let anything get in the way of that. We got a lot of gifts, a lot of essential things. And when people talk about essential workers, man, that's just so phony. Every single person is the essential worker and has like this spark and flame that has to be contributed to this so that we could build the heaven on earth. And it might seem like that's a far-fetched ideal, but I'd rather have an optimistic view of how we can make it all work in our various ways that we've chosen in our on, rather than to think that all of our various ways are going to cause disarray. I think we just move forward and connecting to the heart. Let the heart guide, man.
Okay, one more question.
Yeah.
Politics. Now, politics, you have the Democrats, you have the Republicans, and whether you vote or not, one of them are going to rule. Now, what do we do about politics? How do we as people, what would be your advice? How do we maneuver with this? Because if we abstain, they still tell us what to do.
Mm-hmm.
If we vote for them, they don't do what we voted for. So what would be your advice? How do we deal with that?
Well, I'd like to think that utilizing our remedies through proper paperwork and approaches like many Moors and American Indian brethren and sisters are doing right now. I think utilizing that is probably going to be one of the top priorities. There's real freedom in religion, but not subscribing to someone else's religion, creating your own religious assembly, becoming that priest that signs off on your papers that says, no, we don't get vaccinated. No, we don't get we don't do this, or this is part of our religion. We utilize these herbs. And having that paperwork and standing on that, and having a nation of other people that we connect with, it's going to take an underground connecting of people educating ourselves about the law, because this may seem like it leaves some people out, but people are going to be left out of their own volition anyhow, because everyone doesn't want freedom. Everyone doesn't want sovereignty, independence. Some people want to be a minor and have the state as their parent forever. They feel most secure that way. And am I to interfere with their thing? I don't think so. I have to let them do their thing. We can only live by example, and maybe the example of real liberty that that we begin to actually apply through mastery of law
Mm-hmm.
will be the guiding light that might help some want to come on over. Because I know the brother Truth, I don't know if you tapped in with him at all, but Brother Truth, he's been really adept at sharing the some of the remedies, and he's going all around as often as he can to in real actual life, meeting with people to give them some good information. And it's not all about him. He's just giving the information so people could do what works for their own particular thing. So I think that really that's what feels like it's our only remedy right now is relying on the law, but not trying to appease or lobby or, ask for anything from anyone, just securing it through the proper paperwork.
Wow. Okay, now here goes the toughest question of this evening. Relationships. Do we how do we deal with relationships? There's some ladies out there, they want to know what can they do? How could they meet a good man? And there's men want to know how could they meet a good woman? And then what can we do to keep the relationship together and deal with family? What would be your advice when it comes to relationships?
Man, well, for, uh,
You said, man.
man, well, I don't know. Uh, Relationships are the best workshop and teacher in our lives. Out of every single thing, like we could have these conversations, we could read all types of books, and that's cool. But your relationship with your loved ones, with your children, with your family, with your intimate other, with your body, with your home, the way we relate with things is that's where we learn and grow the most. So when you have a person that you have began to connect with, and when you live, especially when you start living with them, that's when a lot of the hidden things that weren't there come up. They start to come up because love will always, every single time, it's going to bring up and out anything unlike love. It will always do that. So when people is around each other, this fire of love will end up attempting to purify them of anything that's not like love. And when those things start coming up, people will begin acting on them and it can lead to drama. So it's good to make sure that even before we're in a relationship, we are aware of our own stuff, like the ways we might think about things or the ways we might do things that could be received harshly or abrasively by another person. We got to work on ourselves, but the thing is, you never want to change for nobody. You don't want to necessarily, like, when you get with somebody, you a certain person, but then when we start trying to change each other, we've gotten out of that place of just appreciating and loving each other as we are. So I think learning how to accept ourselves as we are is one of the most important things to entering into a relationship. And also just getting out there. I I don't know how people finna do it now. Like, where do people go nowadays? They're only gonna be able to meet in the metaverse,
Mm,
on Twitter or something.
mm.
I mean, on Tinder or whatever. Uh, but relationships that is really the juice of life, and I don't have any advice because as Rasta we don't like to add no vice to nobody, but I can just add on uh that loving no matter what, freely given love is, if that's the foundation, not like this tit for tat getting even thing. If you could remove the tit for tat getting even and just learn how to give love for love's sake, there'll be more fulfillment in relations.
Wow. Well, I want to say salute to you, brethren. I'm very proud of you over the years. I consider you one of the wisest people I know, and
Oh
I
man.
appreciate you doing this. And we're going to have to do a part two maybe in a month or so.
Yeah.
Blessed weekend. and hug and kiss the youth for me. And I gotta come see you. I'll come see you after the New Year's over,
Let's do that.
children and everything, and stay strong. All right.
Thank you, brethren. It's good to build with you.
Yes, I Rastafari.
Yes, I roaring lion.
Yes, sir.